Hello guys, and welcome to Suzuka or Sakkito, or whatever you want to call it, for this Japanese Grand Prix, the 15th race of the season here. This is season 2 in my Project Cars career, currently in Formula A, and the season, like I've been saying for the past couple of videos here, seems to be winding down ever so slightly. We are just about getting ready for the qualifying session here. As you can see, the weather is nice, light cloud, 37 degrees. That is something to be happy about, as you can easily be unlucky and experience some monsoon-like conditions here in Japan. Anyway, getting ready for the qualifying session itself here. Just look at the mountains there. This track is definitely a work of art. Who cares if they couldn't secure the actual license for the Suzuka track there? Beautiful track. Jumping ahead to the business at hand here, this is going to be our first qualifying lap here in this session. As you can see, just swooping by the chicane there that is actually a part of the Suzuka track. But this is just one big sweeping right-hander here. Very bumpy sweeping right-hander, I have to say. And our first lap in the books there, P22 out of 22 cars. Ouch. Need to stay out for another, I think. Jumping straight ahead here, Anthony Lowe setting the provisional pole as we come through this sweeping left-hander turning into a sweeping right-hander. You're just going flat out in this section here, at least in the qualifying. Obviously, this is another section where the Sakkito track differs from the original Suzuka track. I believe the story was that they actually had the Suzuka track done, but then couldn't secure the rates, so they had to go ahead and make a few changes on it. Obviously, this particular straight, as I remembered from other games, the elevation is wrong too. You sort of go downhill, then uphill. I really didn't get the feeling right here. Anyway, coming through the sweeping right-hander here, out onto the finishing straight here. This is going to be our second lap. We absolutely need an improvement here if we are going to be starting anywhere else than at the back of the grid there. We almost chop off a full second and a half there, and that is a provisional pole. That is going to be good enough for us here, and hopefully this is going to be standing for the remainder of the session here. Just taking the time here to wave at the fans. These guys have come a long way just to see us. Give them a big smile there, guys. And lo and behold, we are going to be starting on pole position for tomorrow's race. Another thing I feel I should mention here is that we actually have the opportunity to secure the championship here today. I haven't done all the math, but by my calculations, we can secure the championship with a win. So, what do you say we just go all out for the win here today? All right, waiting for the green light here. Here we go. And getting out of the gate nicely here. A little bit of wheel spin, just taking a look down the right-hand side there to see if anybody's sneaking up the inside of us there. I believe it is Andy Smith still in P2 here, but we get into turn 1 as the number 1 car here. I believe it was Fabio, our teammate there, cutting the corner. I'm not really sure what that was all about, but he appeared to lose a couple of positions there, and Andy Smith having a little bit of a look down the inside there, but has to back out of that one, and as such runs wide in the very next turn there. Peter Monroe is in P3, I believe, currently putting Andy Smith under pressure here. So a very good start for us here so far, opening up a nice little gap there down to Andy Smith right until we run wide into this right-hander here. And guys, you're going to have to bear with me for this video. I have no idea what the turns are called, let alone what their numbers are. And because of that, we're just going to be going with left-hander and right-hander for this episode, okay? Coming through the left-hander here, out on the back straight. Andy Smith having a vain look down the inside there, but he is unable to make that move stick. I feel I should mention, for the actual race here, we've gone with a slightly different wing setup than what we did in qualifying here. We're running a little bit more wing. Basically, it's because these two sweeping left-right-handers here right before we come out on the main straight are very bumpy, and I'm a little bit worried about whether or not my front suspension is a little too stiff there. That front end just does not want to seem to settle down here, so we opted to go for a little more wing, and hopefully that's going to sort out whatever issues we might have, particularly with a fuel-heavy car here. And if you look at the mini-map there, it appears that somebody had a mishap in that final turn I was just talking about. The pack seems broken up in two. Somebody's going very slowly there, and let's have a look at that. It appears that's Fabio. That's our teammate. And he just loses the car there into the gravel pit there and hits the tire barrier. And apparently is able to keep on going there, but tough luck for Fabio, tough luck for Auto Rebel. He started in P4 there and is way down the order now, so I guess if we're going to be scoring any points today, it's going to have to be up to us. Jumping ahead to lap 4 here, so you can see Andy Smith being overtaken in the mirrors there by Peter Monroe. He's now into P2, but both cars are really putting up a fight here, and as we get a little bit too much of the Actually, we get a little bit of the grass there and end up veering to the right there on the track, making contact with Peter Monroe's tire there, I believe it was, or whether or not it was just a big bump, I'm not really sure. But Andy Smith takes full advantage of that and moves back into P2 here. But at the moment, we are definitely being matched by the AI. Jumping ahead to lap 9 here, we've managed to punch in a few fast laps after each other here and are now opening up a nice little gap there down to Andy Smith. He is still in P2, but we are currently about a second and a half ahead of Andy here. And I feel I should mention here, I'm not really sure whether or not so far that my increased wing setup is helping as much, because we seem to be losing a lot of speed here on the back straight. I actually thought that the open DRS was going to make up for most of that, but it does appear that the increased front wing is definitely taking some of the aero out of the car, and as such, we are lacking about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour here on the long straights. But at this point here, we are maintaining a bit of a gap down to Andy Smith, and hopefully we're going to be able to expand on that. Jumping ahead to lap 18 here, as you can see, we are now opening up a nice little gap down to Andy Smith in P2 there. He's about 3.5 seconds down the road. And I have to say that thus far, even though this has been an exciting race to drive, this is kind of like Imola, the situation where we start at the front and maintain the lead throughout the race here so far. It's not going to be very interesting to watch, and I have to say, these past 10 laps, not much has been going on to show you guys here. So we're going to be jumping right ahead to our first and hopefully only pit stop of the race here, and it's going to be interesting to see just how the AI are going to fare here. And at this point, I'm just going to be crossing my fingers that we don't get any electrical glitches in the engines, or somebody drops a wheel nut or something stupid like that, because I really don't have the time to spare here. I need to get in and out quick this time, guys. Come on, please. All right, that didn't seem to take too long there for a Project Cars pit stop anyway. Just looking to the right, we have one car retired, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 cars out of the race already. I haven't really seen anything on track there, but I guess it's kind of limited what you see when everything is going on behind you there. Anyway, rejoining the track here in P15, but I'm feeling kind of good about this. I don't think any of the AI have been in to make their pit stop yet, and hopefully we're going to be using this as a bit of an undercut here and punch out some fast laps on these new tires here. Jumping ahead to lap 21 here, as you can see, we now have cars in the pits. We're going to be making up a few positions here. We are up into P13 only here, but this is the fastest lap of the race here so far. So I guess if the lap times themselves are any indication, we should be extending our gap right now. And skipping right ahead to lap 23 here, a bunch of cars in the pits, and yes, we are back into P1, leading the race once again. And if you look at the gap there down to Andy Smith, he's almost 5 seconds behind us there, so it does appear that this time the undercut strategy did work out. Jumping right ahead to lap 31 here, not much going on in terms of positioning, but we are still extending our gap ever so slightly on Andy Smith per lap here. We're putting in some fast laps, but apparently he's close to matching us here, so we've only pulled out about a second and a half here after the pit stop on the last 10 laps, but I have a good feeling about this. I think we need to make a mistake if he is going to catch us here. All we need to do here is stay away from making stupid mistakes, get the car home in one piece, win this race, and we're going to be taking the championship here today as well. Skipping right ahead to lap 37 here, final lap of the race. As you can see, we've opened up a huge gap down to Andy Smith here over the past 5 laps. I'm not sure whether or not he's had a problem or whether or not his tires have just gone off the cliff there, but basically 6 seconds in 5 laps, that is a huge gap indeed. But it matters not. We're going to be taking the win here today at Sakkito, and we are going to be taking the Formula A Championship as well. Nice one. Really enjoyed this one. Love this track layout. Just look at the mountains there. Absolutely brilliant. All right, we end up taking the win here today ahead of Andy Smith in second, Anthony Lowe rounding off the podium there in third. And I'm not seeing Christian Borgens, Mr. Consistency himself, anywhere there in the top 10. Maybe he was one of the guys who crashed out early in the race. I don't really know at this point, but it matters not, because as we're going to be seeing shortly here, I am pretty sure that nobody is going to be able to catch us in the championship standings here. This was the 15th race of the season. We have 4 remaining, and I think the highest anybody's going to be able to score is 195 points. That is if Anthony Lowe wins the remaining 4 races and we crash out, and it's still not going to matter. We have 210 points. That's going to be more than enough to secure the championship there. All right. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to this channel for more Project Cars action, and I'll be seeing you soon enough. Bye-bye.